Welcome to the Black Gay History Channel. Please share this video and subscribe to this channel for more captivating content. I'm currently reading a fantastic book called Rainbow History Class, for obvious reasons, and not only have I learned so much about global LGBTQ history, I was very astonished to read a particular passage about the ancient gay marriages in Siwa, a small secluded city in southern Egypt. The Siwi people are mostly from the Berber ethnic group, an ancient North African people who have existed and migrated throughout northern African kingdoms for thousands of years. The Siwi Berbers have been there for roughly 12,000 years and have astounded historians and anthropologists with their open tradition of celebrating marriages between men. The town Siwa has been known for generations as a secluded oasis town, far away from major cities like Cairo, and the town is particularly close to the Libyan border to the west of Egypt. Because of the Western world's historic and enduring fascination with ancient Egypt, the detailed and numerous accounts of the gay weddings from this particular African nation weren't as scandalized by European historians in the way that they demonized gay unions from the ethnic groups of sub-Saharan Africans. Though many people attribute the North African group, the Berbers, to be lighter-skinned Arabs, many black Berbers and North Africans have pushed back against this whitewashed view of the Berber people. Written historical accounts from celebrated Greeks like Silius Italicus, Corippus, and Procopius all describe the Berbers they encountered as having very dark skin. We also have to keep in mind that the Berber people in the Siwa Oasis have been in North Africa nearly 12,000 years, which means for most of that time prior to Arab migration south into Africa, these Berber tribes were black people. I think this is an important correlation to make because, for one, this is the Black Gay History Channel after all, and two, there is a near continent-wide effort in Africa to restrict the rights of LGBTQ people on the basis that these relationships are un-African, and this couldn't be further from the truth. There are numerous accounts from historians and anthropologists who lived amongst the Siwi people in the early 1900s and marveled in awe at the openness of these gay marriages and the open gay affection and sex they had with each other in this town. The German Egyptologist George Steindorf is quoted in the year 1900 writing, "The feast of marrying a boy was celebrated with great pomp, and the money paid for a boy sometimes amounted to 15 pounds, while the money paid for a woman was a little over 1 pound." End quote. In 1917, Mahmoud Mohammed Abd Allah, a museum curator, would write, "Siwan men could take up to 4 wives, but Siwan customs allow a man but 1 boy, to whom he is bound by a stringent code of obligations." End quote. In 1937, anthropologist Walter Klein would write, "All normal Siwan men and boys practice sodomy. Among themselves, the natives are not ashamed of this. They talk about it as openly as they talk about love of women, and many of, if not most of their fights arise from homosexual competition. Prominent men lend their sons to each other. All Siwans know the matings which have taken place among their sheiks and their sheiks' sons." End quote. That same year, archaeologist Count Byron de Prorok reported an enthusiasm that could not have been approached even in Sodom. Homosexuality was not merely rampant, it was raging. Every dancer had his boyfriend, and chiefs had harems of boys. End quote. With the spread of Islam to the country, numeral codes became enforced, though these relationships and unions continued to persist discreetly, possibly even today. In a chilling, more modern tale, Egyptian archaeologist Ahmed Fakhri noted a change in the frequency of these unions after studying the Siwi people for decades. In 1973, he would write, "While the Siwans were still living inside their walled town, none of these bachelors were allowed to spend the night in the town and had to sleep outside the gates. Under such circumstances, it is not surprising that homosexuality was common among them. Up to the year 1928, it was not unusual that some kind of written agreement, which was sometimes called a marriage contract, was made between 2 males. But since the visit of King Fuad to this oasis, it has been completely forbidden. However, such agreements continued, but in secrecy and without the actual writing, until the end of World War II. Now the practice is not followed." End quote. Because of the religious oppression and homophobic environment of modern Egypt, it wouldn't surprise me if these unions persist in secret today. There are many more historical accounts of the gay unions in this Egyptian town, So if these gay marriages made this town notable and possibly even renowned, a part of me doubts that these traditions have been given up altogether. And we also know that in any given population, there are going to be queer people, whether they be a minority or the majority. I think there's still so much to learn and explore about this unique and queer-friendly town in Egypt. With all this misinformation about ancient Egypt, it's clear that a lot of this information isn't being circulated because many people, black ones included, are invested in oppressing gay and queer identities. It's truly fascinating that such a distinguished people in such a legendary and illustrious land could preserve such an incredible gay history despite so much change that has happened in the world.